Hi, I'm Andrew Hutchens, and I'm a fourth-year economics PhD student in the Department of Agricultural and Resource Economics at NC State University. This project is about droughts and power plants, and it's a joint venture with Harrison Fell, Eric Edwards, and Jordan Kern back at NC State. The decarbonization of the energy sector is a major part of society's efforts to combat climate change. It is particularly important to study drought, given the vulnerability of thermoelectric power plants, who still produce most of the power in the US, to drought through their reliance on water for cooling their generator-produced steam. In effect, droughts increase plants' marginal cost of generation and potentially decrease their efficiency. Either effect can incentivize plants to improve their efficiency, either to offset the increase in marginal cost or to recoup lost efficiency and reduce cost that way as well. Previous research has shown that drought affects capacity and generation, reducing the former and shifting the fuel and generator mix of the latter, but our project investigates drought's effects on efficiency. We are also particularly interested in how such effects vary across different wholesale electricity market types, because different market types provide different incentives. To be specific, competitive wholesale electricity markets incentivize plants to adapt to cost shocks like drought to remain cost competitive, while vertically integrated monopolies do not. In fact, such monopoly settings disincentivize cost or efficiency adjustments because regulations prohibit such monopolist utilities from earning profits from operating expenses, which is exactly what such adjustments essentially are. These are the two market types that are present in the US, so we differentiate between market plants that operate in areas where competitive wholesale electricity markets exist and non-market plants that operate as cogs in a monopoly machine, if you will, in areas serviced by vertically integrated monopolist utilities. We define our market areas to be these 7 regional transmission organizations in the contiguous US, and we let the conglomerate of all other non-market areas be our non-market area conglomerate. With that context in mind, we essentially seek to determine whether such incentives are actually at work in practice by answering the following research questions. Do competitive wholesale electricity markets actually incentivize plant efficiency improvements to drought? What about plants in non-market areas? And 2, how would plants respond under different market or drought scenarios? This is a good time to mention that our measure of plant efficiency is heat rate, which is equal to the amount of fuel combusted divided by the amount of electricity generated. So the lower your heat rate, the better your efficiency. Answering the first question entails modeling plant-level heat rate as a function of drought and control variables like electricity demand using fixed effects regression models. The second question explores the long-run nature of decarbonization efforts by using machine learning algorithms to simulate plants' efficiency responses to drought under counterfactual market or drought scenarios. Specifically, we tested a suite of models and found the bagging regressor to be the best model based on mean absolute error. Before jumping into our results, here's a little more information about our drought data. In all of our analyses, we measure drought using the Palmer Drought Severity Index, or PDSI. We get our PDSI data from the gridMET dataset from the University of California, Merced's Climatology Lab, which provides daily PDSI values at a 4-kilometer grid cell resolution. Using the high spatial resolution of gridMET, we construct plant-level drought conditions using inverse distance weighting of the 10 closest measurements to each plant. On to the first set of results. This plot shows the point estimates of drought's effects on efficiency in each market area grouped by drought category in order of worsening drought. So D1 is mild drought, D2 is moderate drought, and D3 is severe drought. These results show that neither of our hypotheses is strongly supported when plant responses are restricted to be the same across all generating and cooling technologies, which is what the specification shown here is. The point estimates for CAISO and MISO, though, do provide some support, albeit without any statistical significance. CAISO is in gold and MISO is in orange. However, when we allow efficiency responses to vary by prime mover, such as steam or combined cycle generators, we see that steam units in CAISO and combined cycle units in MISO respond as expected. That is, they improve their efficiency in response to drought. Moreover, we find that non-market plants experience efficiency losses as expected when they employ combined cycle units. Finally, here are the results from simulating a scenario where all thermoelectric generation in the US is performed by natural gas-fired combined cycle generators, which are more efficient than steam turbine generators. We find that plants in all areas except ISO-NE and NY-ISO have lower heat rates in this scenario than in the actual scenario with a mix of steam and combined cycle generators. Overall, our aim was to shed light on power plant efficiency responses to drought and how they vary due to market structure. Hopefully, these results can help better inform the viability of markets as mechanisms for incentivizing power plant adaptations in the face of climate change and the decarbonization of the energy sector. Thank you for taking the time to listen.